Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about what is the most fair and balanced payout split for the Doomsday Heist. So this is a pretty popular question that I have actually received, and a user on the Grand Theft Auto Reddit, RDS08, has actually put together a pretty awesome sheet that shows you what's the most fair and balanced payouts for how many players you're doing it, whether it's 2, 3, or 4, for all 3 acts. Because when you get to the end, you really don't know, who deserves the most. Is the host supposed to get all, or the members that are doing it supposed to get the bare minimum? It's kind of hard to figure out what's fair. And on my live streams, I just did at the end 25, 25, 25, which I'm not sure if that was totally fair for everyone. Like, was I cheating my associates? Was I cheating me? So knowing this going forward is actually going to be quite nice. And I'll definitely leave a link to it in the description. So let's talk about Act 1, the data breaches. So the upfront cost for this is $65,000, which the host will pay. However, there is a setup payout of $32,500 for your associates each time they help you complete the heist mission. So that total at the end would be $95,000 per. And then the heist finale payout is $812,500. So if you're doing this with 4 players, you need to do a 60-40 split, where the host would take $422,500 and the member would take $422,500. Right even. That is perfect if you guys want to completely split the work. Now, if you're doing 3 players, that's going to change to 50, 25, 25, where the host is going to take $340,250, and you can see the math right there. It's basically their final payout minus the setup cost, and the members are going to take $625,000, and you can see their payouts are less, but if you're adding up the payouts that they're getting for doing the setups, it kind of evens out as best as you can. Then if there's 4 players, you're going to want to do a 40-20-20-20 split, where the host will take $260,000 and the members will also take $260,000. So by far, the math adds up the best when you're either doing this with 2 players or 4 players. The host and the members can get the same amount each time. Now, as you've noticed here, if you do it with 2 players, you're going to get more money. It's just that simple, but it's also harder. There's some parts of the heist missions that are definitely easier if you have more players. So doing it with 2 players means more of the burden, more of the risk is on your shoulders, which obviously is why the reward is a little bit higher. So that right there is Act 1. Now, Act number 2, the Bogdan problem. This one has a little bit of a higher upfront cost of $95,000. The setup payout is also a little bit better, $35,630. So multiply that times 4 because there's 4 setups. You get $142,520. And the finale payout is $1,187,500. So if you do this with 2 players, you're going to want to do a 60-40 split, just like what we saw in the first act, which is going to give the host $617,500 and the member $617,520. So $20 more, almost as fair as you can get. So for example, on this next one, when you see 3 players, we're going to be doing a 50-25-25 split. Each member isn't getting $439,000. That's split between both of them. So you can see here that the host is going to get $498,750, which is quite nice. And the 2 players will split $439,395, which again is pretty close. The host in this scenario is getting a little bit more. 3 players is always the most tricky math-wise. Then if we go to 4 players, you're going to want to do the same thing, a 40-20-20-20 split, where the host will end up taking $380,000 and the members, which they'll split once again, are going to be taking $380,000 plus $20. So just a little bit more. I mean, that literally can't buy you anything in online. Now, Act number 3, the Doomsday scenario, is by far the most interesting because there's 2 more variables that we're going to be throwing into the mix. However, the upfront cost is pretty easy. It's $120,000. The setup payout is $45,000, and since there's 5 setups, you get $225,000. The finale payout is $1.5 million, and if you use the barrage, the host will actually get $100,000 back at the end. And if you use the Kanjali, the host will get $50,000 back at the end. So if you're using 2 players, there's 2 ways in which you can get the most fair payout. Using a 60-40 split, in which if the host uses the barrage, they'll get $880,000. If the host host uses the Kanjali, they'll get $830,000, and the member will receive the same amount no matter what, $825,000. So if you want to be as fair as possible with your other member, use the Kanjali when it is asked. A little bit of a spoiler there, but I'm sure you guys have figured that out by now. Now, another method is using a 55-45 split. So if the host uses the barrage, it'd get $805,000. If they use the Kanjali, $755,000, and the member would be taking home $900,000. So in this scenario, you're getting less money than the associate, but it's still the most fair payout using those two scenarios. Now with 3 players, it gets a little bit trickier, but it's still for the most part pretty easy. So you want to do a 50-25-25 split, where if the host uses the barrage, they'll get $730,000. If they use the Kanjali, they'll get $680,000. And the members, which once again is split, will get $600,000. So again, pretty fair right there. There's another method you could do that is 40-30-30, and that would be where the host takes home $580,000 if they use the barrage, $530,000 if they use the Kanjali, and the members would take home $675,000. So this one is definitely a little bit more generous, as in each scenario you're going to be making less money than the associates, but that's still pretty fair. And then with 4 players, you're going to have 2 options too. You can do a 40-20-20-20 split, which will see you taking home $580,000 if you use the barrage, $530,000 if you use the Kanjali, where your members will split $525,000 in total. Now there's one more. You could do 55-15-15-15 as far as the split goes, where you're going to take home $805,000 if you use the barrage, $755,000 if you use the Kanjali, and the members will split $450,000. So this one you are taking a lot extra. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you remove 5% from each person and add it to yourself, it really does end up adding up. So that right there is the most fair and balanced payout scenarios that you can get for all 3 acts of the Doomsday Heist when you consider the upfront cost, the setup payouts, and the finale payouts. And for the Act 3 Doomsday Heist scenario, the bonus you get for either using the barrage or the Kanjali. And honestly, I wish I had known this, because I was doing this wrong the whole time. I didn't really know what was fair, because I didn't really think about to include upfront costs and the setup payout, and for Act 3, the bonus you get. I think the toughest question to answer out of all of this is trying to figure out, are you going to do it with 2 players or are you going to do it with 4 players? Because clearly, as you saw in every single scenario, doing these heist missions with fewer players means you're going to get more money. It's that simple. And I've only done the heist missions with 4 players, and I can still say that they're pretty hard with 4 players. So Rockstar have made the Doomsday Heist missions much more difficult and much more tricky and intricate than the ones we saw in 2015. So I'm almost thinking, do you deserve more money for doing it with 2 players than what you get? Now, one thing that this guide does not cover is some of the intangibles, some of the things you can't really see if you go beyond the numbers. Number 1 is doing it as a host obviously gets you more benefits. You actually unlock the trade price for some of the vehicles you use in the heist missions. So like the Deluxo, the Jetpack, the Kanjali tank. You get the trade price if you're the host only, which is important because that will save you sometimes millions of dollars if you want to purchase these vehicles in free mode lobbies. And number 2, in order to be the host, you actually have to own the facility, which is going to be a multi-million-dollar upfront cost. So that's something to consider as well when you're going through all of these different payouts. The guy who's hosting this thing had to spend $4 or $5 million just to get this underground place to start this whole thing. Now, another thing I should add is I would probably avoid doing it with 3 players. To me, that's just way too awkward. As you saw with all the numbers, when you do it with 3 players, the split gets really weird. I personally like really clean numbers, and doing it with 3 players always really ended up not giving you clean numbers, except for the Doomsday scenario at the end, act number 3. I would either try and go for it with 4 players or 2 players. If you have 3 players, tell that guy to scram or tell him to get one of your friends, because the payouts work out so much better with 2 or 4 players instead of 3. So anyways, now you guys will know if someone is demanding a unfair payout in Grand Theft Auto Online heist missions. So if you're not the host, if you're just joining someone else, you can tell them, hey, you're not giving us a fair payout, or, maybe you should take a little bit more. We should get a little bit less here. You're giving us too much. Who would turn down free money? But if you wanted to be fair, this is the best way in which you can ultimately organize it. And even if you're just doing it with friends and crew members like I was doing, I just had no idea what to do, and now I 100% know what is the most fair way to do it so that I can make sure all my friends, associates, and crew members are properly getting paid, and I'm still getting paid a fair amount too. So once again, I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. It's amazingly detailed, and it should help you out tremendously when trying to figure out the payouts for the Doomsday Heist. But that's all I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. Let me know your strategies and what you do for payouts in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, where you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.